come on in. Hope you've all had a good day so far. Nothing really to report. Hope you all had a good class. I don't know if you practiced on Monday, but there was someone stepping in for me, so hope that all went well. Really, really lovely teacher called Delia. Nice. Let's just get going. So there's a playlist for you, as always. I think it's the last link that's in the description, but it's also in the actual chat on the side. You can pick it up there. It's one of my older playlists, so you might have heard it before, but wouldn't have heard it for a while. And we will begin seated today. Good. So when you're ready, let's come to a comfortable seated position. As always, I'd recommend sitting on something, so give yourself a bit of height, like a block or a thick book underneath your sit bones. We'll take the legs. You can go cross-legged, or if you'd prefer to sit on your shins, or even if you feel like you want to lie down, that's of course an option instead. Let's let our hands just lay comfortably onto our legs. Let our eyes begin to close down when you're ready to do so. And if you're just coming in, if you're just joining us, take your time to find this comfortable seated position. There's no rush. Let's give ourselves these moments to drop into our practice, to sort of differentiate between the day that has been and the point that we are at right now. So as a collective, all of us together, and you might be guiding through this with me live as I speak, or perhaps you are someone who's watching this on replay later down the line, but we've all carved out this time for ourselves today. And just seeing, how much that means to you at this point in time, how much it means to have this hour that is a free moment to move and explore our body in a physical dimension. Harboring this relationship, harvesting this relationship between our breath, our movement, our mind. We can actively relax the jaw. Actively relax the space between the eyebrows. We'll just spend a few moments noticing our breath. So finding a moment just to explore the breath and not exploring it by changing it as such. Let the breath just sort of happen, occur naturally in the body, but explore the experience that you have with it when we really start to become aware. And noticing this three-dimensional shape change that takes place in the thorax, or the upper parts of the torso. Noticing the expansion that comes with the inhale and the release that comes with the exhale. And we're just paying some attention here. We're simply just putting the effort in to notice these things. And what this does to our nervous system is, if we spend enough time, which doesn't have to be too long, but if we spend enough time really focusing on our breath, it actively tells our brain and thus our nervous system that there is not another threat that we have to be thinking about. If we have the time and the capacity to be thinking about just our breath and not worrying about what we're going to have for dinner or a deadline that is coming up, it sends messages into our nervous system and into the rest of our body that we're not in a state of stress, that we're in a state of rest and digest. So it doesn't have to be the most profound revelation, it doesn't have to be the most sort of interesting moment where you observe your breath, just simply to observe it and know that this is doing incredible beneficial things for your body, for your mind. So let's flip the palms facing upwards, and as you inhale, start to reach the arms all the way above and around you, like we're painting the walls, painting the ceiling with the fingertips, connecting the hands, and then let them float down through your center line until you find prayer at heart center. The thumbs just gently grazing the breastbone. Releasing the hands onto the knees, slowly beginning to blink the eyes open and allowing the light in. Nice. Alright, so same as always, I forgot to tell you to start the music. So feel free to press play. You want it to play from the first song and let it run through. You might want to start on the first song or perhaps skip it to the second song because we've missed the first song. We'll come into a tabletop position. So bring yourself into all fours. Taking the hands under the shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips, and then just extend your right leg behind you, the toes tucking under. And we'll just give ourselves a gentle little rock forwards and backwards. We're pushing off of the ball of the foot to really drive that forward action, and then absorbing the force backwards into the crease of the toes. And then just swapping over towards the other side. Left toes tucking under. Feeling this sort of spring-like function that we can find in the ball of the foot. And then gradually coming back through to center, knees down onto the floor. Let's take an inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, rounding the spine. Push the hands down, chin to the chest, tailbone underneath. Inhale, drop the belly button, lift the sit bones, draw the chest through the upper arms. And again, exhale, scoop in, round into the spine. Inhaling as we lift to arch. And you might want to continue on with a few more rounds of cat and cow if this is serving you. Or you might want to start to bring in a little bit of intuitive movement. So perhaps start to roll through the ribs. Maybe send the sit bones back, come towards child's pose. Snaking through the spine in any dimension, in any sort of form. An unbounded movement that has no kind of no expectation and no need to achieve anything other than just continuing to investigate how your body is feeling today. You know, how are you on the mat at this point in time? Because our experience in our body is different every day, every minute, every hour if we really start to, you know, listen in and tune in. So what do you want from this moment? And that might be stillness, it might be something that's quite wild and creative. Let's take a couple more rounds of breath here. And as you continue moving, so try not to pause, we'll find our way into our first downward facing dog. Good. And your sort of journey of how you choose to get there might be something that's a bit different to what you would normally cued or how you're normally cued to get into downward facing. And then finding a stillness eventually in our downward facing dog. So let's bend our knees, lift our heels a little bit. So we're really kind of lifting the sit bones up and high. And then just give your head a gentle rock from side to side. Make sure you can feel your upper arms beside your ears. So we're not protruding the head forwards beyond the arms. Good. And as you push your hands down, let your shoulder blades slide up the back of the rib cage.
And drawing the two front corners of your rib cage in towards each other. So we're keeping that nice sort of neutral spine through the upper back. And taking one more round of breath here. Good. And then we're going to start to walk our hands back towards our feet. Find a forward fold at the very back of your mat. Catch a hold of opposite elbow. Let the body sway gently side to side. And then bending the knees, drop the hands towards the floor. Let's start to roll ourselves up through the spine, gradually lifting up bone by bone.
Nice. As you arrive, take a couple rolls of your shoulders. Staying at the back of your mat, I'm just going to turn to face you all. So we'll take the feet about hip distance apart. And as we inhale, again, let's reach the arms up and above the head. Nice big stretch up. Good. Connect your hands, let them float down through to Prayer Heart Center. Let the eyes close with them. Good. Finding again that easy breath, so relax the abdominal muscles to let the breath flow naturally so that we're not gripping too much. And then releasing the hands, start to blink the eyes open. Good. So this is where we're going to start the sequence today, from the back of the mat with the feet hip distance. We'll take a breath in, reach the arms again all the way overhead. Gazing up towards your fingers, curl the fingertips in towards each other. And then start to drive them down your center line. Dropping your chin in towards your chest, you roll down, lock the vertebrae off one at a time. Bending into the knees, let's inhale, reach the arms out wide to the sides of your mat. Lengthen the spine as you come up into a halfway lift. Good. Just make sure you can see your fingertips in your peripheral vision, so you're not driving the arms too far up towards the ceiling. Good. Thinking about this really nice sense of a wingspan in the back of the body, so we're broad, we're elegant across the back. Now as you exhale, refold. Curl the fingertips in towards each other. We're going to reverse that as we start to roll up. Push into the feet, rolling up through the spine, lifting. Inhale, send the arms up towards the ceiling. Lifting with the gaze, and then cactus the arms. We're going to take a nice sort of release of the spine all the way back down. So cactus the arms, they circle back and down. The front corners of the rib cage float up, and then we melt down over our thighs. Hands into the floor, we're going to pad out, walk into your downward facing dog. Good. From here, coming high onto the balls of your feet, drawing the chin towards the chest. Now start to ripple forward. So from the very base of the spine, sacrum and a tailbone tuck under, and then we undulate ourselves forwards. I've got my top in my mouth. Good. Finding your plank pose. We're just going to hold on this first round in plank. So like an arrow from the crown of the head through towards your heels. Good. Now bend into the knees, little bend into the arms. We're going to snake ourselves back into your downward facing. Good. One more time, coming forwards, high onto the balls of the feet. Tailbone and chin tuck under. We ripple ourselves forwards. Good. This time we're going to soften the knees towards the floor. Untuck the toes and then arch our way back into child's pose. The arms bend, the sit bones lift, and we arch our spine as we come back. Sit bones onto your heels. Good. Take a moment, forehead softening towards the mat. Now we're going to start to roll up. So let your fingertips start to pull in towards you as they drag along your mat. Your chin stays into your chest. We roll up through the spine. And then from here, as the hands sort of pass or come very close towards your knees, you're going to start to lift up onto your shins, onto your knees. Good. Now push the hips forward. Let the arms continue to circle backwards like a big wave as they circle all the way overhead. Good. Connecting the hands, let them float down through to Prayer Heart Center. Alright, so we're really pushing the hips forward. This will allow us to engage, squeeze our glutes, which is going to be very important for what we come to now. All right, we're going to transfer the weight towards your right leg. And this left leg now is going to start to extend out in front of us. So go sort of carefully as you start to extend this left leg out. And it's a whole kind of balance game, working on the function of this right hip and the muscles that sort of support the pelvis to keep it very stable. So you can use your arms to balance. The left leg is just extending out. Good, as you can see from my demonstration, it's not supposed to be something that is easy. It's supposed to be a bit of a task. Okay, now we're going to step onto that left foot. Come into a little bit of a low lunge, so dropping the hips down. Left knee is just on top of your left ankle. And then pop the fingertips down onto the floor. Back toes tuck under. Lift the back knee from the floor. Find that really sort of low center of gravity. So now as you push your feet down, you're going to inhale, lift the arms above the head, and we're into our high lunge. Good. So both hip bones are nice and stable forward. That right glute is still working for us. It's still active. So the glute maximus, the big chunky one at the back, plus the ones on the side as well. Good. Breathe in. Find that breath from the base of the spine all the way to the fingertips. Palms flip forwards. We're going to curl the fingertips in. Dropping down through the fingers, chin to the chest. And as we inhale, snaking all the way back up. As we find that high lunge. Now split your arms. Take your right arm back, your left arm forwards. Spin open through the chest. The hips, right heel finds the floor. We're into Virabhadrasana V, Warrior 2. So reaching the fingertips out nice and wide. Now in your Warrior 2, I want you to push the arms down as if there was someone underneath you or a surface underneath you. So you wouldn't be able to go like this. You'd push them down and you'd find that resistance, and you'll feel a kind of connection into the lats. These are really important postural muscles, I won't name the muscles, but really important postural muscles basically that support your rib cage, your shoulder, your torso. So just finding that sense of resistance, and now keep that sense of resistance as we move on. We're going to flip the left palm. Inhale, reverse. Left leg is straightening, toes are flexing. Now curl your left fingertips in, bend into the left elbow, chin to the chest, and then we start to slide forward as we refine Warrior 2. Again, inhale, reversing. Exhale, feeding underneath to find Warrior 2. Last one, breathing into reverse. Exhale, moving forward to Warrior 2. Okay, from here, we're going to keep this left arm reaching forward. Look to the ground. Left hand goes to the floor. If you want a prop, grab a hold of a prop, maybe a book, underneath that left hand. And we start to just hop the right foot up the mat until eventually the right foot can lift away and we find half moon. So hips are stacking, shoulders are stacking. Extend all the way back through your right heel or right toe. And as you feel confident, you might start to lift that left hand, excuse me, away from the floor, and you find a little bit of a balance. Go easy on yourself. It's the first one you're doing, so it doesn't have to be a perfect balance. From here, we're going to start to keep the right leg lifted. Just let your right shoulder and your right hip bone travel down towards the floor as we square off. Fingertips on the ground, but you're in Warrior 3. Good. Now draw your inner thighs together. Squeeze your right heel in towards your sit bones. We come into this flamingo pose. And then fold in as you try and take your forehead onto your kneecaps. So we're folding in like a piece of paper. This should feel very, very active. Use your torso to hug in on yourself. Now as you inhale, extend away. Take the crown of the head and the big toes far away from each other as we shoot them away. Step back onto that right foot. Swing your left leg through. You're back into your three-legged dog. Or you're into your three-legged dog. Good. Extending through the back of the leg. Now take a bend into the knee. And we're going to start to carve our left knee underneath our body. So carve the left knee underneath as you bend into the right leg. And step your left foot towards the right hand side. It's going to come off of your mat. Step onto the left foot. Lift the right foot away from the floor. Pivot on the ball of your left foot as you send your right leg underneath you.
goes off the side of the mat. And again, we pivot on the ball of the foot. We send the left leg underneath. And you just keep on going, swaying the hips from side to side. Feeding the legs underneath. One at a time. Nice. Keep on exploring this. And one big bit of advice, keep your legs really bent. So notice if you're doing it kind of with like a straight leg down dog sort of version. And actually, if you can lower your sense of gravity, hips go lower by knees bending, then start to swing. Finding that nice pivoting moment on the ball of the foot. Good. You feel it in your shoulders, you'll feel it in your core. Let's take one more round here, so that when we are next stepping onto our right foot, we're going to hold there. So we're in like a cross-legged down dog variation. Your right foot is in front of your left foot. Now step onto that right foot and let your left leg feed underneath you as if you were going to go again. Don't put the left foot down, but lift your right hand away from the floor. So you're almost coming into like fallen triangle. Now extend the left leg long as you bend into the right knee and you sit all the way down. So it's like you're shooting your foot as far away from you as you can. Okay, where are we? We've got right foot on the floor, left leg is extended, left hand is on the floor, and right arm is free. Seat stays on the ground for the moment. Breathe in. We're going to draw a huge C shape in space, like the letter C. And then exhale, reverse. Again, breathing in, finding that three-dimensional shape change in the torso with every single breath. Last one. Inhaling as we sweep up. Exhaling as you release down. Good. Now for this final one, if you're feeling good, you can start to push down, lift your hips, and come into Wild Thing. Just exhale to release down. Lovely. Okay, now let this right arm swing in front of you. Plant your right hand down. It won't go exactly beside your left hand. Just plant it onto the mat. Push into the right foot. We're going to feed the left leg back up and through into a three-legged dog. Straight away, walk your hands back towards your right foot. You come towards a balance. So your balance might be a warrior three once again. It might be a standing split with the left leg a little bit higher. Maybe the hands can start to come away from the ground. Good. And then let's let that left foot find the floor. Dangle over for a moment over your hips. Good. From here, we'll send the arms out nice and wide. Lead with the crown of your head as you reverse swan dive. Little bend into the knees. We're not pushing into the top of the hamstring. And then we're ready to go on that left-hand side, on the second side. So curl the fingertips in. Dive it down, chin to the chest. Inhale. Snake it up, halfway lift, arms wide like wings. Feel that back span across the body. Exhale to release. Curl the fingertips in. Push down through the soles of the feet as we start to lift ourselves all the way up. Good. Arms reaching above the head. Now circle as you cactus the arms. We're really kind of drawing the chest forwards and up, and then melting down as you lay stomach onto your thighs. Good. Pad your hands out. Feel the texture of your mat underneath the palms of the hands. Downward facing dog. Good. High to the balls of the feet. Chin to the chest. Ripple forwards as you come into your high plank. Good. Now we're adding on. From here, we're going to come into an upward facing dog. So I want you to be really mindful with where your end range of motion is. So you're not going to push yourself and feel any pain here. Arms stay straight. Toes stay tucked under. Let the hips continue to lower down as you draw your chest forwards and up. Good. Squeeze your glutes. Really important to protect the back. Now bend into the arms. Send the sit bones back and up. Downward facing dog. Good. Again, chin to the chest, heels lift, inhale, ripple forwards. Good. This time we're going to let the knees find the floor. We're going to snake back into child's pose. And forehead eventually arriving towards the mat. We slowly start to roll up through the spine, so the fingertips trace in towards us, chin is to the chest. And as your hands come to your knees, lift your hips away from your heels. Start to push the hips forward. Now it's like this breath that comes from the very sort of base of your kneecaps. It pulls up the thigh bone into the hips. Takes this huge journey as the arms circle overhead. Hands to prayer, exhale. Good. Okay, balancing on your left shin, so take the weight over to the left hand side. Start to lift your right leg. And then extend this right leg forward. The arms can reach out towards the side or do whatever they need to do for the body to kind of adapt. Good. All right, and then step onto that right foot. Good. Lowering the hips down, knee on top of the ankle, fingertips down onto the floor. Back toes tucking under, lifting the knee away from the floor, push down into the soles of the feet, and as you inhale, we're going to lift the arms, reach them above the head. Good. High lunge, left glute is working incredibly hard to keep us stable here, so squeeze that left glute. Okay, breathe in, let the breath climb up the body, palms flip forward. Exhale, curl the fingertips in, chin to the chest. We dive down. Inhaling as we snake up. Good. Now splitting the arms. The left arm's going to go back, right arm forward. That means that your shoulders open, rib cage, hips, left heel, find warrior two. You're going to turn face the other way. Good, so you've got your right knee driving forwards, your left toes are to the long side of your mat. Full integrity through the legs. So the right leg is externally rotating and the left toes, or the left leg, kneecap is pulling up towards your hip. Okay, now again, that sort of pressure down, so there's a sense of resistance around us. We'll flip our right palm to the ceiling, reverse it. Flexing the right leg, flexing the toes, curl the fingertips in, bend into the arm, chin to the chest, and we start to feed forwards. 2 more times, swimming through space. Inhale. Exhale it. Good, last time, breathing in. Exhale. Now as you come forward this time, keep that right arm reaching forwards. Hand comes towards the floor or perhaps your prop. Hop the left foot up your mat and then lift as you come into half moon. Good. And see how you go. Maybe that right hand's going to stay on the floor, or maybe you can start to lift it a little bit higher away. Good. So half moon, we want to think about the hips and the shoulders being stacked. So we're on this sort of flat plane line, like we're between two narrow pieces of glass. Good. Okay, stay for one more round of breath in this balance before we start to transition. Good. And now keeping the left leg as it is, start to dial your left shoulder and your left hip bone down to your mat as you come into warrior three. Good. Okay, inner thighs line up, knees line up, heel hugs towards your sit bone and then fold in. So you might need quite a deep bend into that right leg, absolutely fine. This is like you're folding like a piece of paper. And now as you inhale, we're going to send the crown of our head and our left big toe as far away from each other as we can. Good. Step back onto that left foot, swing your right leg through, you're into a three-legged dog. Bending into the right knee, we start to feed the right leg underneath us. It steps off of your mat towards the side. Step onto the ball of the foot, and again, bend into your knees. So try not to think about it like peg legs. Bend into the legs, it gives you far more kind of suspension and buoyancy. Pivot on the right ball of the foot. The left leg steps underneath you, off of your mat. Pivot on the ball of the left foot, right leg steps underneath you. Good. And so keep on going with this, keep on sort of exploring it. Really think about how much you can pivot on the ball of the foot when it steps onto the floor. So it's not just like a tiny little, 15-degree angle of pivot. Go for like 180 degrees. How much can you swing? And with that bigger range of movement means that you can start to play around with a little bit more of like a swinging tail-like quality with the leg that's lifting. Good. Keep it going. Keep on exploring. Don't worry about what it looks like. It's completely irrelevant. How does it feel? Maybe you're like, it feels like my shoulders are burning.
In which case, you're probably not wrong, they probably are burning.
Alright, when you've got your left foot crossed in front of your right foot, we're going to meet there together. Don't rush to get there, just get there when you do. Okay, your left foot is down. You're going to step onto that left foot. Let your right leg feed underneath, but we don't put this right foot down. It feeds underneath. You lift your left hand away from the floor. Now keep sending that right foot far, far, far away as you bend your left leg and you come all the way down to seated. Our left foot is on the floor, our right leg is straight, and our right hand is on the floor. Left arm is going to do the swinging. Breathe in. Backwards C shape in space. Exhale to release down. Good. 2 more times. Just finding that lift, that climb of the breath through the spine and out of the chest. Good. Last one before we, even think about lifting the hips. Nice. And now on this final one, you might choose to then lift your hips. Push down, squeeze the glutes as we lift up. And then exhale to release down. Good. Now a little cheat moment. You're going to swing this left arm around and just let it place down onto the floor. It won't align with your right hand, probably. Might do, but probably won't. Now push into the left foot, let the right leg feed back and up into your 3-leg dog, and you walk your hands back towards that left foot as you find a standing split, maybe a warrior 3. Any variation. Good, I feel like my leg's about to disappear outside of my window. So finding your variation of your balance. Maybe the hands are becoming a little lighter and floating away from your mat. Good. Okay, from there, let's pop that lifted leg down onto the floor. Dangle for a moment. We're going to get ready to go for our second round. So arms reaching out nice and wide. Let's lead with the crown of our head as we slowly start to reverse swan dive, coming all the way up. Good. Curl fingertips in, chin to the chest, we dive down. Inhale, snake it up. Halfway lift, arms are reaching out wide. Breath across the back body. Exhale to release. Curl the fingertips in. Inhaling as we lift all the way up. We unravel as we find vertical. And then cactus the arms. They circle back as we open through the chest. And then we melt ourselves down. Hands pad out into the floor, downward facing. Good. Chin to the chest, heels lift. Inhale, ripple forwards into your plank. Good. Now keep letting the hips lower. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms as you draw the chest forwards and up. We're pushing the floor away. We're actively squeezing the glutes. And then we snake back, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, ripple forwards. Now let the knees bend and find the floor, and then arch your way back into child's pose. Good. Forehead finds the floor. From here, slowly start to roll up. The fingertips are dragging in towards you. And then just about as they find your knees, you start to lift up. Feel that breath, pull up the body, it climbs as we circle the arms behind us. Big wave motion. Good. Hands connect, they float down through to prayer. Make sure your glutes are squeezing, they're switched on. We transfer the weight to the right leg. Good. Left leg is extending out. And let this have sort of like an element of it being playful. So it's definitely not about kind of fixing a perfect position. Watch how your body is adapting and how it is sort of not fighting but allowing you to be in this position. It's very, very interesting when you start to kind of notice where is turning on and where is relaxing. And then let's step onto that left foot. Drop the hips down. Now maybe you're not going to use your hands as you tuck your back toes under. Push the floor away. Inhale to lift up. We're into our high lunge. Good. Stabilizers still working for us. Breathe in, let that breath climb up your back. Palms flip forward, curl the fingertips in. Chin to the chest, we dive down. Inhale, we snake all the way up.
Good. Now start to find it from the hands, split the arms, right arm back, left arm forward, the shoulders, the rib cage, the stomach, the hips, warrior two. Good. Left arm reaching forward, right arm drawing backwards. Find a sense of the resistance that's all around us, but there's a softness in what we're doing, so it doesn't have to be rigid. Okay, left palm flips up towards the ceiling. Inhale, let's reverse, flex the left leg, curl the fingertips in, chin to the chest as we swim forwards back to warrior two, ready to go again. Breathe in, push away to lift. Exhale. Good, last one, breathing in, reverse. Exhale. Now this one's going to bring us into our half moves. We bend deeper, bring the floor closer to you as you start to lift that right leg away from the floor. Good. Finding that moment to balance, extend all the way back through the back leg. So beyond the knee, into the foot, whether you're pointing or flexing, it's all part of the pose. Whoa. Okay, keep your right leg lifted like it's a key inside of a lock and start to rotate everything down to the floor. So that's your right hip bone, your right shoulder, finding warrior three. And now squeezing everything in, right thigh connects to left thigh, forehead towards the floor, crunch in like a piece of paper, you're folding, folding, folding. And as you now inhale, we're gonna reach the right toe back, the crown of the head forward as you lengthen out. Good. Maybe the hands float away from the floor before we place them down. Step onto that right foot, the left leg is swinging through. Good. Three-legged dog. Okay, we're going to start to explore now this sort of swinging, stepping movement. So left leg is going to bend, feed the left leg underneath you as you step onto the ball of the foot. And then as you pivot on the ball of the foot, the right leg feeds underneath. Good. Again, remember that the legs want to be bent. Now can you maybe play around with lifting the opposite hand to foot away from the floor? Good. Maybe you want to play around with a little bit of like a tail whipping moment with that top leg. Good. You can play with the speed, you can play with the tempo. It can start to, from the mechanics, the sort of basic mechanics that you've been given, you can start to explore within that a different way of moving your body. Let it start to evolve, let it start to adapt, so it starts to look less and less like the original material you were given. Good. Nice, keep on exploring, keep on exploring. I feel very reluctant when I do these things to show too much, because I really love it when I see people start to adapt in their own way. And even if you feel like the information isn't fully there yet, that's also fine. Just keep digging with what remains in your body, what parts of it are already integrated into your muscular system. I'm just going to keep you here for one more breath. So when you next have your right foot crossed in front of your left, we'll meet there together. Now let's step onto that right foot. Let the left leg thread underneath. Keep going again, but you're not going to put that left foot down. You're going to lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Now stretch the left foot away, away, away. Bend your right knee as you continue to stretch and you sit down. Right arm is our swing. We're going to swing it down. Inhale, lift it up. The hips can start to lift now. And then exhale to reverse. And it's like a constant challenge of how far can this right hand remain away from our center point at all times. So it's always going like the long way around. Last one. Breathe in, lifting up. Good. Exhale to release down. Now let the right arm just swing in front of you. Pop the hand down to the floor. You're going to feed the left leg back and through. Walk your hands to your right foot. And we're into our balance, whatever that looks like. Warrior three, standing split. Good. Okay, if we're going for that standing split option, or if you're also going for warrior three, we can take a variation where we bend the right leg, sorry, the left leg, the leg that's lifted. Take a hold of the left foot with the right hand. Good. And again, you can do this in warrior three, of course, or you can do it in your standing split. If you're doing it in standing split, the hips are more stacked, so the left hip is on top of the right hip.
And then let's release it out. Let the foot find the floor, dangle. Getting ready for the second part of this round. Bend into the knees. Arms reach out wide. We lead with the crown of the head as we come all the way up. It's chin to the chest, curl the fingertips in, dive it down. Inhale, snake it up, halfway lift, arms wide like wings. Exhale to release. Curl the fingertips in, reverse that journey as we come all the way up. Standing tall, head on top of the shoulders. And then cactus the arms, melt yourself down. Pad your hands out, downward facing dog. Feeling like paws of a panther in the Amazon. Panthers live in the Amazon, I don't know. Walking out. Okay, chin towards your chest, tailbone underneath you, ripple forwards into your high plank. Now your arms stay straight, the toes are going to stay tucked underneath. Keep letting the hips lower as you draw the chest forwards and up. Your glutes are absolutely paramount here to protect your back, so make sure you're squeezing them as you draw the chest up. Now bend into everything as you arch back into downward facing. From there, chin to the chest once again, ripple forwards into your plank. Only this time you're going to let the knees find the floor, and then we arch our way back into child's pose. Good, I'm going to keep you moving now. Start to pull the fingertips in towards you as you roll up. Push the hips forward, let that breath travel up the body as you take a huge wave of breath overhead. Hands to prayer. Transfer the weight towards your left leg, and our right leg is coming forwards. Good. Extending the right leg forward. Take a moment, just as you did on the first side, and just see, how do your right and left sides compare to each other? So I actually feel like my left leg is probably a little bit better at supporting, stabilizing me. It feels like it's not as difficult or as sort of wobbly on this side for whatever reason. Okay, let's step onto that right foot. Drop the hips down low. The hands could be used or maybe not. Back toes tuck under. Push down to lift. High lunge. Good. Feel the breath pull up the body. Palms flip forwards, curl the fingertips, chin to the chest, we dive down. Inhale, we snake up. Good. Now split your arms, your left arm splits back, right arm forward, shoulders, rib cage, stomach, hips, warrior two. Good. Resistance all around you, but flowy, easy. Right palm flips up towards the ceiling, reverse, straighten the right leg, flex the right toes. Curl the fingertips in, drop the chin to the chest. As you feed forward, you're ready to go again. Inhale, reversing. Exhaling. Last one, breathe in, reverse. Exhale, forwards. Now bend into that right leg, bring the floor closer towards you, half moon. Integrity to the very, very tips of your body. So that means the tips of the fingers, means the tips of the big toes, everything sort of working with the energy that you're giving the body with the breath. Now the left leg's going to stay as it is. Start to dial the left shoulder and the left hip down towards the floor as you come into your warrior three. And now we fold like a piece of paper, stomach to thigh, knee to nose, round in, fold in half. And then inhale, extend away. Maybe the fingertips float away from the floor because we extend so much. Hands down, step onto the left foot, right leg swings back. Good. Bend that right knee, let the foot feed underneath you. Good. Finding your little sway, your little steps. Side to side. Good. And this is like base camp, the sort of very basic version that we did in the beginning. Not that this is a basic movement, but the way that we started it, that's like ground level. And you can start to kind of curiously move in and out, and it might start to take the form of something that's not so repetitive. You might want to start to, try out. Okay, where can this lead me, and how can I move into a different place? It can start to take on the form of a completely different movement just from that sort of base camp that we started in. Okay, when your left foot is crossed in front of your right foot, we'll meet there. Step onto the left foot. Good. Let the right leg feed underneath you. Lift your left hand away from the floor. Send the right toes as far away from you as you can. And then we're going to sit down. Left arm is your swing. Inhale. Lifting the hips. Exhale to lower. 2 more times. Breathe in. Lift the hips. Find that wild thing. Exhaling as you lower down. Good. Last one. Breathe in. We lift. We pick up through the hip bones. And then lowering down. Now we're just going to let this left arm swing in front. Plant the hand down. Feed the right leg back and through. Find your balance. Walking the hands back to the left foot. Good. So maybe warrior 3, maybe standing split. Both options. You have the choice to maybe bend the lifted leg and take a hold of the foot with the opposite hand. We kind of go from like a lot of movement into a moment of stillness into this sort of this balance. Again, it's challenging the body. Good. All right, bring it back into 2 points of contact. Fold down over your legs, take a forward fold. Maybe shake the head out. And then we can walk the hands forwards and come to a child's pose. So let's come to rest for a moment. Hips heavy, head heavy. And as you rest in child's pose, think again about this. Maybe come back to this 3-dimensional shape change of your body as you breathe, the torso in particular. Breathing into the back, the sides, the front, the diagonals, the shoulders. Next last breath here. And then let's come back into our downward facing dog. We've got 1 more round, right side, left side to do. All right, walk your hands back towards your feet as you come into your downward facing. And then let's get ready to go for our last round together. Bend into the knees. Let's reach the arms out wide. Leave with the crown of the head. Inhale as we lift all the way up. Dive it down, chin to the chest. Inhale, snake it up, halfway lift, arms wide. Exhale to release, curl the fingertips in, we roll up through the spine. Arms reaching up. And then cactus the arms, let's melt ourselves down. Walking the hands out, downward facing dog. It's undulating through your spine, chin to the chest, tailbone under. Ripple forwards into plank. And as you come into plank, the hips continue to lower down as the head and the gaze start to lift. Upward facing dog, squeeze the glutes. Bend the arms, bend the legs, snake the sit bones back, downward facing dog. Again, chin to the chest, ripple forwards, find your plank. We're going to find the floor, so soften the knees down. Arch your way back, child's pose. Rolling up through the spine, so pull the fingertips in, heavy head. Push the hips forward, breathe in as the breath pulls up the body. Hands to prayer, transferring the weight towards the right leg. Good. Left leg starts to extend forwards. Pay attention to those adaptations, those little moments for balance. And then step onto the left foot. Good. Down to lift, back toes tuck under. Inhale, we lift up, high lunge. Good. Inhale. Curl the fingertips in, exhale, dive down. And breathe in as we snake up. Split your arms, warrior 2, from the hands all the way down to the legs. Good. Left palm flips to the ceiling. Inhale, we reverse, flexing the toes.
Exhale, chin to the chest, round it forwards as you feed back towards that warrior two. You've got 2 more full rounds, and on that second round, that's going to bring you into your half moon. So move now with your own breath. And it's not that we're going faster, it's just that we're taking out those pause moments. So everything becomes just as important as any other part of the phrase, essentially. Good. So when you're finding that half moon, we do take just a moment to kind of be in the pose, but it's not static, it can still be moving. Good, start to dial the right hip and right shoulder down towards the floor, finding your half moon. And then hug it in as you fold like a piece of paper, thighs connected, chin to chest, forehead to knee. Inhale as you send the right toe and the crown of the head away from each other, maybe hands float away. Step onto the right foot, swing the left leg through, 3-legged dog. Good. Let's bend into the left knee. Feed the left foot underneath you. Start to play around with your swings, with your steps. Maybe where this might lead you to. Be brave enough to come off of your mat. Good. What a rebellious act that is now, to come off of the mat. So let yourself explore kind of beyond the boundaries of this piece of rubber that we practice on. Good. Okay, so I want you to keep on moving, and I'm gonna start to cue, but let the words land when it's the right time for you. So you might not be moving exactly in time with me, and that's fine. When you've got your right foot crossed in front of your left, you're gonna feed your left foot underneath you. The right hand comes away from the floor. We extend the left toes forward to then sit down. We've got 3 sweeps in Wild Thing. Inhale to lift, hips are squeezing. Exhale to lower. Good. 2 more, push down to lift. Float the hips up. Exhaling. Nice, take this one more time wherever you are within this sequence. Good. And then let that right arm swing around you, plant the hand down. Left leg is gonna feed back and up as we find our balance. Walking our hands towards our right foot. I'm not going to keep you here long, so go for that balance, whichever variation you want today. Release the left foot towards the floor. Bend deeply into both knees, arms reach out wide. We inhale, reverse one dive as we come all the way up. Exhale, dive all the way down. Arms wide, halfway lift. Exhale. Curl the fingertips in, roll up through your spine, lift, lift, lift. Inhaling. Melt down, big circle. Patting the hands out, downward facing dog. Again, chin to the chest, tailbone tucks under, ripple forwards into your plank. Let the hips continue to lower as the head starts to lift, you come into your upward facing dog. And then mindful as you move back into downward facing dog. Good. Trust that you know what you're doing even without having to watch your screen. Inhale as you ripple forwards into your plank. This time knees down, you're going to arch your way back into child's pose. Start to roll up, drag the fingertips in towards you, push your hips forward, the arms do a full circle over the body. Hands coming to prayer, we transfer the weight to our left leg and our right leg is extending forwards. Good. Step onto that right foot, down to lift, high lunge, back toes tucking under. Inhaling. Exhale, dive down, curl the fingertips in. Inhaling as you roll up. And then split your arms, left arm back, right arm forwards as we open into that warrior two. Good. Finding the warrior, 3 reversals. So inhale, feeding over. Bend into the arm, curl the fingertips, you reach. Going for 2. So it's like you're building up with these reverse flowing moments. And on your final 3rd round, it's like you move so far forward that you just have to tip into that balance, left leg lifting as you come into your half moon. Good. And maybe this is the only part that we find just a moment of It's not stillness because there's still so much moving and breathing within it, but it's a moment where we're not transitioning necessarily. Good, now start to dial everything down towards the floor as you come into your warrior 3. Hug the left heel, left thigh to the right thigh, fold in like a piece of paper, flamingo pose. Inhale as you reach away, crown of head, toes, maybe hands lift. Exhale, step it back, right leg swings through. Good, last time, we're going to feed the right leg under, feed the left leg under. Yes. Let it be creative, let it be playful, let it have no right or wrong kind of binary within it. The best thing is about practicing at home is probably no one can see you. Maybe your house pet perhaps might be able to see you. So it really doesn't matter what it looks like, and if the biggest battle is with your own mind, do whatever you need to switch that off. It doesn't matter what it looks like. How does it feel? What is the sensation? What are the interesting connecting points? Just as last time, as you continue to play, let my words land when it's the appropriate time for you. When your left foot is crossed over the right foot, we step onto the left foot. Let the right leg feed under. Left arm lifts away from the floor, and then we sit down. Get ready to sweep. Breathe in, wild thing. Exhale to lower. Good. 2 more times. Inhale, wild thing, hips picking up. Exhale, floating down. Good. Your last one, inhaling to lift into that wild thing. Lovely. Exhale down. Now let your left arm swing in front of you, plant the hand down. Right leg is going to swing through, 3-leg dog into your balance. The last little moment. Whatever variation you're going for. And then release it down. Good, well done. Take a deep bend into both knees. Let the arms and the head be really heavy. Maybe just sort of roll your tongue around inside your jaw. And then relax it down. Let's walk our hands back forwards. Come into a child's pose or any sort of passive resting position that feels good for your body. Letting everything just slow for a moment. Let's walk our hands in towards us, roll us onto our shins. We'll send the sit bones over to either side so that the legs can swing forwards. Good. Coming into a forward fold, so toes flexing. Remove the flesh from underneath the sit bones, just feeling that grounding. Breathing in as you reach up through the arms. Exhale as you fold forwards. Head heavy, chest and shoulders soft. Again, notice that 3-dimensional shape change as you breathe with every breath. Inhaling to expand. Exhaling to soften. And slowly start to roll up through the spine. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Planting the feet forward, let's shuffle ourselves to the very top of the mat. Arms reaching, inhale. And then exhale, lowering down. Control that downward journey. Popping the feet down into the floor. Just give your knees a little rock from right to left. And then come to find the last couple of moments where you can really just, you know, end the practice in a way that's personal to you. So that might be a little twist or a happy baby or a hug of your thighs in. It's a moment to really be with your body. So when we're ready, let's come to find the most comfortable position we can put ourselves in. So that might be feet on the floor, knees lifted. It might be legs extending out. Maybe hands connecting inwards, or maybe hands releasing out. Actively relax your jaw. Actively relax the space between the eyebrows. Surrender the weight of your body down. Making your next inhale a little bit deeper. And finding a bit of movement into your fingers and your toes. Rocking overhead, side to side. And then extending the arms behind the head, reaching the feet forwards, lengthening out. Exhale, hug the thighs in, give yourself a really nice tight squeeze, a well-deserved hug. Swaying side to side until you come into your fetal position. And keeping the eyes closed, we'll gradually start to lift ourselves up to a tall seat. Laying the hands onto the knees, palms facing upwards. Let's breathe in, reach the arms all the way above and around us. Connect the hands, let them float down through to prayer at heart center. Just coming back to a moment of stillness to seal off the practice. Bowing the chin towards the chest, saying a final thank you for dedicating this time to yourself. And then blinking your eyes open and allowing the light in. Good. Namaste all. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Absolute pleasure to practice with you all. Do let me know if you've got any questions, as always, anything that I can answer, any particular requests of things that you might want to be working on at the moment. And yes, hope you're all keeping well as we start to kind of ease out of lockdown and things are changing. Yeah, keep track of how you're doing, how we continue to adapt through these very interesting and turbulent times. I'll just pop a little message in the chat. feel free to shoot me any messages, any questions, any queries. If you want to keep in contact or keep up to date with anything that I'm doing and offering, then best thing is to follow me on Instagram. It's Kathy_Richardson. If you are a North London based yogi, I did my first outdoor class on Wednesday at Alexandra Palace, but I'm going to sort of try and dip around into different parks. So maybe Finsbury Park. There's also another one which I forget the name of. So if you're interested in any of that, again, following me is the best sort of way to be in contact with that. Nice, Lily, well done. Good. Thank you, Kathy. Lovely class. Thanks, Gemma. Lovely to be able to practice with you guys. And Hannah, thank you so much for joining me. Cool. I'm going to leave you to your evening. Lots of love, as always. Continue to take care of yourself. Make sure that you give yourself that downtime and that rest time that we so desperately need, just as much as being active and productive. Okay, see you guys soon. Bye-bye.